Hello, I'm Darren Crapo, and welcome to a special Friday edition of UFO Planet. On today's program, I have clips for you from Brazil, Iran, the United States of America, and Canada. Also, we have a fantastic interview with Costa Macris, the co-founder of ETLetsTalk.org, who was featured in the Sirius documentary. All of that's going to get started in about 30 seconds, but first, take a boo at some of the clips you're going to see on today's show.
Special because Dr. Greer, when he coined it, emphasized that it's human initiated.
Contact with ETs. UFO Planet.
Well, thanks for tuning into the program today. Sorry that we're a little late getting the show out to you, but it's been a week from you-know-where here in southern Alberta. We are currently in a state of emergency. Our rivers are bursting their banks all over the south and have forced the evacuations of tens of thousands of people from their homes. Fortunately, our Brooks studio is on the high ground, so we're able to continue with today's show, but after today's show, we're going to have to do some packing. So let's get her going here right now. We're going to head down now to Brazil to an awesome video of a UFO that was captured over a large street protest in that country. Let's get that going now. Well, that was very interesting. What do you make of that? Now, online, I read several explanations for it. One of them even included an explanation that what we were looking at was a drone that was employed by the local media to record the masses in the streets. I'd be interested to know what you think of that. Next, we're going to move on to a clip shot over Iran. This is a very interesting video clip. There's an object up in the sky, and you're just going to have to see for yourself what it is.
A lot of chemtrails in the sky today. And here is a object in the sky. I don't know what it is. It looks very strange. Very strange.
Well, what do you think of that one? To me, it looked an awful lot like a Coke can pull tab, but it's hard to say. I'm not sure if that video was real. It's pretty strange looking for a UFO. Next, we're going to move to Oklahoma, and this is a fascinating UFO that was captured as it crossed a valley. We're just going to get this clip going here. Now, if you look in the right side of your screen there, you can see the object. I pointed out with arrows here a few times, and you can see it moving across the valley there. This was recorded on May 19, 2013. There we can see in the digital zoom that we have some sort of an object that does look like a saucer shape making its way across the valley. This is in slow motion, that's why there's not continuous motion in the video, so we can capture a good look at this object. Take a look at that. Now compare it to the road beneath it. That's a fairly large object there. This was reportedly captured in Oklahoma in the United States of America. In the enhanced photo there, it actually doesn't do it a lot of favors there, but you can definitely see that there's an outline of some sort of a white saucer shape. Very interesting. Very good capture of a video too. I was very impressed with that. I'd be interested to know what you think it is. And I'm very happy to announce that tons of you guys are still making comments on UFO Planet. And here's what you had to say about the clips on last program. Well, that was rather interesting to read. I just want to say thank you to everyone who is posting comments and remind you that if you post your country, I will include your country and your flag beneath your comment, kind of give you a little homey feel there. But thank you everyone for sharing comments with us here at UFO Planet and letting everyone know what we're seeing in the videos. Next, we're going to move on to a very interesting video. This was sent to me by a person called Kayakless Jones in Ontario, Canada. Now, Kayakless sent me a very detailed email. Appreciate that very much, Kayakless. And he has been spotting UFOs over his home in Ontario. Now, this clip is made up of multiple clips edited together to kind of give you an idea of what Kayakless is up to. So let's get that video started right now.
Hey, it's Kayakless, and just want to make this little intro for the documentary I'm making. I've been looking for the boys now for over 2 months, and I haven't seen nothing ever since the Boston bombing, and they stopped as soon as that happened showing up for me. I got 2 in March, 2 sightings in March, and nothing since. And it's May 13th, 16th or something. So it's early in the morning. I'm out here looking. The dude, the ET, I'm hooking up to him. He's here. If we get anything, I have no idea. And I don't know why they're not showing up. Oh, I had 3 dreams why. And that was paranoia from the people during the terrorist bombing in Boston there. That's why they ain't showing up, because everybody will freak out thinking it's communist plot or some damn bullshit like that. I had 3 dreams saying That's why they're not showing up.
It is. UFO probe, there it is. Okay, I'm gonna keep tracking on this thing. Oh, took a month, but I finally gotta get some pictures. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna try to keep it tracked so this thing can take off instantly and you'll see it. Hopefully. It's moving southwest against the wind. Just to let you know. Okay, that's as far as I can zoom in. Alright, it's kayakless. Got an ET probe. Right there, left of that branch. Right there. ET probe. Focus, you saw it. Contact with ETs. For 2 days now, ever since I got here, I've been pounding them, hooked up, face to face, telling them to give me a sphere probe over my head. And tonight it happened. Clear blue sky. As soon as the jets came, it took off. You saw it on film.
Well, Kayakless, that was very creative. You should visit his YouTube channel because there are literally hours of the videos that he's been recorded, a lot with zoom ins and different shots and angles. Very creative way of putting together your communication with your followers there, Kayakless. I enjoyed editing your videos there, but make sure you visit his site and check out some of the other clips that are there. Now we're going to take and go to an interview that I conducted yesterday with Costa McCreese, who is the co-founder of etletstalk.org and is currently featured in the paradigm-shifting documentary Sirius, breaking long-held government secrecy regarding the truth of ET presence on Earth. Costa has been a successful software consultant in Silicon Valley for more than 3 decades, but his true passion is creating and nurturing a global citizens movement which connects to benevolent star civilizations visiting Earth. Through etletstalk.org, Costa is the vanguard of empowering teams and individuals, now with over 3,500 members in more than 50 countries around the world, to initiate ongoing communications with ET and to facilitate the creation of our planet's transformation to a new Earth of peace, abundance, and joy. Let's get that interview with Costa started right now. Costa, welcome to UFO Planets. Good to have you here today.
Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Well, Costa, you are a man of many talents, and I have a lot of experience. I've read a lot about you, watched a lot of videos about you, and I want to just start right with the basics here. Let's go back to where you first began interest in UFOs, ETs, and your personal UFO interests.
I started very young as a child in the interest. When I grew up in the 60s, it was the age of NASA, the moonshots, the Gemini programs. So it wasn't uncommon for many young boys and girls my age to have an orientation and an interest in space, for starters. So that was kind of the general climate. But in specific, for some reason, I bought myself a telescope when I was, I can't remember, 9 or 10. And in my Indiana backyard, I was out many nights with this 3.5-inch reflector telescope, just gazing at the heavens. I was just fascinated and awestruck by the majesty, the distances, everything about the heavens. So I spent many hours getting used to it and just really enjoying my time under the stars. Somewhere along the way, I just happened to see a book on UFOs, I think in a drugstore near my home, picked it up, I read it, and it just blew my mind. it opened my mind and just stretched it, because that book then populated and made real the fact that there were civilizations from out there that I'd been gazing at, in the star form, maybe actually coming to Earth. So that was an incredible thing. And like I said, it opened up my mind. And because I also had an interest in science fiction, I read a lot of it. My mind was also prepared for very imaginative and fantastic flights of literary fantasy and whatnot. So you can see all these different elements: the NASA space program, my interest in science fiction, and the introduction to UFOs in a book just really sparked the interest. And I started reading more and more, whatever I could get my hands on to learn about it. And I
It grew
kept
from
that.
there.
What's
You,
that?
you definitely grew up in the right era for all that to happen. It was kind of almost the pinnacle of the space industry over the course of your lifetime and my lifetime as well. I think we're in the same age bracket there. And I want to talk a little bit about you were featured in the paradigm shifting documentary Sirius.
That's
Now, I
right.
found that very fascinating. Can you tell us a little bit about how you discovered Dr. Greer's work, first of all?
Yes, in 2006, after many years of letting my interest in UFOs and ETs and outer space and reading science fiction kind of lapse, because I went to university, got a degree, got married, divorced, had children, got remarried, many things that very similar to what many of us do, and just had no time to pursue these interests. But in 2006, in the summer, I was surfing on the web and just thought to myself, I wonder what's going on in the UFO field. I haven't kept up. Let's see who the players are. What there might be videos. Who knows? While surfing around at that time, then I discovered the Disclosure Project that Dr. Greer had. And what was fascinating to me about it, in comparison to other websites I saw and other researchers, was that he combined a spiritual approach uh, with his meditation emphasis, as well as a very political one with all the witnesses, the military and corporate and political witnesses that he got on camera to come forward and tell their stories. Now, that kind of combination was just fascinating for me. Plus, the fact he was also talking about taking groups under the stars and actually making contact using the CE5 protocols.
Now,
So,
can I just interrupt for a moment? Can
yes,
you just explain to the viewers exactly what CE5 is, what the acronym stands for, just
sure.
so they have a clear understanding?
It stands for Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind.
Okay.
Um, Most of us are familiar with the Steven Spielberg movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Hmm.
So the designation of CE Close Encounter 1 through 4 has certain meanings in terms of what kind of phenomenon was observed, how it was interacting with the observer, and so on.
Hmm.
The CE5 is special because Dr. Greer, when he coined it, emphasized that it's human initiated. Close encounters of the first through the fourth kind
Hmm.
seem to happen to people randomly. They don't control them. They
That's the
just happen
experience coming to the person.
to the person. Whereas with the CE5, there's a method, a protocol where the human being initiates the contact and says, hey, ET, talk to me. I'm here. Here's how to find me. Let's communicate. Let's interact.
Now, I suspect you must have been very interested when you came across Dr. Greer's work in that area with the CE5, because you yourself are the founder of the worldwide CE5 network. Is that correct?
The global CE5 is the network that was founded in October of 2010.
Hmm.
We started with just a few, maybe 40 groups in maybe a dozen countries, a group being one or more people who were just interested in using the protocols and coordinating with one another on a given Saturday, let's say, during a 24-hour period every month
Hmm.
since October 10. And the intention was to build kind of a group energy field of people having the same intention to make contact with
Okay.
ET at the same time.
Okay. Now, how does telepathy and meditation play into the CE5 program?
The postulate is that the many of these civilizations are not only technologically more advanced than we are, but likely more spiritually advanced. Consider the fact that if they've made it out into space or into other dimensions, that they've managed to overcome the kinds of problems maybe that we're fighting right now, which is relations with one another's warfare, ecological destruction, all these things, so that they could be wayfarers into space. So that speaks to me and to many, many, many others in our network and around the world that there may be some more wisdom there. Now, having said that, using telepathy and these consciousness-based approaches like meditation, visualization, remote viewing speaks to the enhanced powers that we think that a lot of these civilizations have.
Okay.
Uh, they are able to meet us at that level. Now, of course, if you don't believe in any of those powers, any of those methods, then maybe CE5 is not for you. But but those skills like meditation and remote viewing are definitely at the core of the approach with CE5.
Okay. And so in these groups, then you gather together, and for what I understand, you attempt together to make a contact, and but the experience isn't necessarily the same for everyone. Would that be a fair description?
Yeah, the answer is yes and no to that, and
Okay.
I'll explain. Many people will experience seeing something in the sky when they make contact.
Okay.
Someone will point, and after a while, when they run down the list of what it isn't. It's not a plane. It's not a satellite because you get experienced and you learn how to spot the explainable phenomenon.
Okay.
Once you eliminate all the explainable stuff, then everyone does an ooh and ah because what they we believe we're watching at that point and what we're sharing at the same time is watching this light or many lights doing impossible maneuvers, stopping in the sky, reversing, zigzagging, growing brighter, dimming down, brighter, um, in response to thought or in response. Some people use lasers to signal with them. So that experience is shared because it's in the visual spectrum that we all could share.
Exactly.
Having said that, though, everybody else's perceptions are very different
Hmm.
in that some of them may be clairaudient, they may be able to be clairsentient. So the ETs will always find a way that is safe for them and for us who are doing the contact to communicate. And I tell you, it's all over the map, and it's wonderful because I get reports from our teams that they will feel a touch on the shoulder, they will get telepathic messages,
Hmm.
they will have lucid dreams where the ETs are there talking to them. They may have weird electronic phenomenon, like their smartphones turning on when they were turned off, or magnetometers going off the scale when they're out in the wilderness, not near anything.
Okay.
It's just a million different ways, and in that way, it's different for many
Okay.
people.
Can I just ask here a question? If to get my understanding correctly, then are the individuals or the entities that you are in contact with, the belief is that these are extraterrestrials from other worlds? Would that be a correct description, a fair description?
It depends on who you talk to because you get into an area where people start talking about, well, maybe they're from other dimensions, maybe they're from the future, maybe they're from yeah, other worlds, the way that we think of our Earth. I don't have a definitive answer to that. My guess is that it's probably all of the above. They are, the universe is teeming with life, and we, I believe, as many others do, are living only in a small band of the spectrum of life. So
Hmm.
who are we to say that what other uh, vibrational lives there are outside of what we can perceive, where they really are? Do we call them dimensions? Do we call them planets? I really don't know. But I do know that the entities are there. There's an intelligence there. And what we've experienced is there's a benevolence there and a great love for us and
I
a
was going
great,
to ask that next. What the
yeah.
feelings? Excuse me. What the feelings were that you get from these experiences, and if you could carry on and explain that a little bit more. You have a
Uh,
feeling of
yeah.
calmness.
Everybody can be different, but often it's people will feel waves of love coming through them and joy. They will tear up. Some people actually will get healings. Other people will feel calmness, and sometimes we'll have visible manifestations of the emotion that's being shown towards us. I was with a group in a circle at one of Dr. Greer's training sessions where 40 people meditated in a cloud-filled sky, in an overcast sky. But after the meditation, if you look straight up above where the circle was of people, the sky had cleared in a circle and you could see the stars, whereas the rest of the sky was still clouded and there was no wind. In the middle of that dark circle of stars, over the next couple minutes, a cloud formed out of nothing and it took a shape. And at the end of those couple minutes, everybody was pointing up and looking because the shape that it took was a huge heart, just a giant
Incredible.
heart up in the sky over us.
And
one
so
of the
something like that was witnessed by multiple people,
multiple,
and that's an interesting experience.
I was there. I was there with a lot of people, and I can't make that up. I should say that one of the people in that circle then shouted out to the rest of us that she had just gotten a telepathic message from those who made that, and she said basically, they want me to tell you that they love us. And she gave us that message. So there we are staring at a huge heart. You know, it's like, are we all insane?
Well, that's refreshing.
What?
You know, that's refreshing. I just want to play the devil's advocate for a moment here, almost literally. And I received several emails over the course of the last few months that people that firmly believe that what they're seeing are satanic followers or evil entities. And yet that's not the experience that you're finding with the CE5 program at all.
Not in the slightest. I'll tell you, I've had thousands of participants in our network report their experiences. We do this every month.
Mm-hmm.
And none of that comes through. Are you kidding me? People who, I don't have any patience for people who kind of think that all that evil is out there. That's baloney.
Well, could that be the influence of Hollywood movies on UFOs?
Do you think? Yeah.
Well, you know, I think it has a way of shaping a way a lot of people believe and think things, and I believe that extends into the UFO world as well. I'd like to move on here. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I agree with you. Hollywood has a vested interest in promoting evil aliens because there's an agenda that even goes beyond Hollywood that Dr. Greer and many others talk about in putting the fear of ETs into us because we're easily manipulated as human beings by other human beings who have other agendas when we are in fear. So our groups haven't reported anything. It's totally the opposite. There's love, there's joy, there's a desire to connect more and more with us. And we are told that by the ETs.
Well, I'll tell you, Costa, from where I'm standing, that's awful good news. That's exactly what I want to hear.
UFO planet.
Well, thank you very much, Costa. You want to tune in to Monday's program for part 2 of the interview with Costa, where we talk about etletstalk.org. A lot of more information coming your way there. Well, that's all the time I have for today. I want to thank everyone for watching UFO Planet. While I was watching that last interview, I received another email from the city of Calgary with more flood information, and also from the local fire chief saying that they expect the rivers within the county where I reside to burst their seams sometime today. So it's time to get back to work. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I appreciate it very much, and I hope you have a good weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
Is special because Dr. Greer, when he coined it, emphasized that it's human initiated.
Contact with ETs.